Trevor Noah is a South African comedian and talk show host based in America. Unfortunately, he's been spreading lies about the UK. He seems absolutely obsessed with portraying the UK as racist. He's stuck in the past, forever banning on about colonialism and the British Empire. He seems absolutely possessed by it, as you can see in these clips.
But colonization. Funny how racists always say, oh, colonization was fine. Can you imagine if white English people wanted to rule countries where no one looked like them? Oh, that would never happen. Can you imagine that world?
Well, my good man, I am here to tell you that India is now under the British Empire.
When you think about where the British did it, I mean, they did it in Africa, they did it in Asia, and think about in India.
Seems like an unhealthy obsession to me. Now, he's free to say what he wants. Some of it is actually quite funny, but he clearly has a problem with Britain. Stand-up comedy and telling jokes is one thing, but telling lies on TV is something different altogether, especially when his brain-dead audience just sits there clapping like seals, believing every word he spews. Apparently, he knows Britain is a racist hello that is aghast that we now have a brown Prime Minister. He knows all this from this one caller on LBC.
Of course, not everyone in the UK is happy about Rishi Sunak taking the top spot and making history. And it's not because of his policies or because of his personality. No, there are some people who have a problem with something else, as this caller to a British radio show so eloquently explained.
Is the real problem here, Jerry, that Rishi Sunak is a brown man and you don't trust him at the top of this country?
Well, could you imagine him going to the Scottish Nationalists and being the Prime Minister of the Scottish Nationalists? Could you imagine me becoming the Prime Minister of Pakistan or Saudi Arabia? No, these things matter. I'm sorry you don't like it, but this is predominantly, we're talking about England, right? 85% of the English people, yes, are white English people, and they want to see a Prime Minister that reflects them.
There's no denying there are racists, but to smear an entire country, that's just insane. This last clip is the most unforgivable one.
There's a part of me that feels a little bad for England's racists. No, because remember, they voted for Brexit specifically to keep Britain white. And that vote started a 7-year chain of dominoes that has now led directly to an Indian Prime Minister.
There's part of me that feels a little bad for England's racists because they voted for Brexit specifically to keep Britain white. What the hell is this moron on about? Another liar spreading anti-British propaganda. He's just smeared 52% of the population as racists. Brexit was about a mixture of things, including slowing down mass immigration, yes. Many of the people who were coming were Eastern Europeans, specifically Polish people. These people are white, but the public still decided that we didn't have room for them all and therefore wanted the borders to be closed. The fact is, we've not made a big fuss over Sunak being a brown man. It wasn't like in America with Obama, where there was a massive historic moment when they got their first black prime minister. Sunak was Chancellor before this. There is plenty of non-white MPs in the upper echelons of UK politics. This is the Mayor of London. This is the Home Secretary. Brown people in British politics are really not a big deal. Even the left has not made a big deal out of him being Indian. And believe me, if there was a racist backlash, they would be all over it. They will jump at any opportunity to portray Britain as racist. They have not mentioned it at all, in fact, because it's all about class here. The left winners are ripping Sunak to bits because they see him as a billionaire who boasts about taking money from the poor to give to the rich. They believe he is going to be a disaster for the country. The entire Conservative Party, which Rishi Sunak is a member of, is corrupt in their eyes. They want the lot of them out of power, whether black, brown, or any other colour, including white. Take a look at the British Parliament.
Of judgment, but she recognised that, she raised the matter, and she accepted her mistake. And that's why I was delighted to welcome back.
You can see people of all skin colours sitting in the highest positions of one of England's oldest institutions, set inside one of its most prestigious buildings. Positions reserved for some of the most privileged people in the land. Now, my country isn't perfect, and he's free to say what the hell he wants, but telling millions of people outright lies on national television hardly shows you in a good light. And to be honest, I think he's been so brainwashed by all this anti-racist nonsense, I don't think he knows what he thinks anymore.